Hello, it's Krista here with you again today. And today I am just out here doing a little bit of work. It's on the weekend. Hate working weekends, but gotta pay those bills. So, I didn't really come on here again with a clear mind again. I've been having kind of a lack of sleep. Have to go to the doctor Monday and figure out why I keep waking up at 3 o'clock a.m. in the mornings. And I just have a feeling that it's really not a Kundalini awakening like I hear people talk about on YouTube. Because I wake up in pain, so I really don't think that's the case. But I believe it's probably my allergies. My allergies are off the charts these days. But, all in all, I'm feeling a little bit better. Started new thyroid medication. Maybe I'll talk about thyroid. It's one I wanted to do anyways for quite a while, all this time. And this one has to do with more along the lines of, should I say, possibly some toxic professionals in healthcare, and not getting the attention or the right medicine that I should have after all these years. I guess I will just kind of tell you a little bit about the story that I've had to deal with for a long time, and how I've been not diagnosed with thyroid correctly, and for a long time, and I've been through so many doctors and have had so many checkups. And I remember when I fell sick when I was into my early 20s, that I had fell so sick that I couldn't get up anymore. I had finally had my own place to live, and then I started having constipation, and it went on for like weeks at a time where I couldn't go to the bathroom. And I didn't really pay much attention to it at first, but then after a while that I felt so sick, I started crawling around on my floor trying to go to the bathroom, and just finally curled up into a ball into my bed and was in so much pain I couldn't even move, and I couldn't even scream or hardly talk or anything. And finally I went to the doctor, and they said, well, you have IBS, so here's some Zelnorm. And they sent me home, and I started taking those pills, and immediately I felt good again, and I could go to the bathroom again and everything. And it wasn't until a couple years later, everything was fine, and except I had to kind of change my diets, like stop eating so much fried food, cut out the red meat, stop dairy. Although I still kind of cheated on that because I was very addicted to, but I did stop eating a lot of the red meat. So anyways, because I did not feel so bothered with this, and all of a sudden they decided to take the Zelnorm off the shelves for everybody with IBS, which is millions of people that suffer from this stomach disorder. And I remember when they took me off that medicine, I tried all their other medicines and none of them worked, and I fell back into a lot of pain again. Ever since I've lived with chronic pain, especially in the stomach that would shoot all over my body. I remember, I think part of this all led to my further drug use. Just to relieve that pain, and among all other pains from the narcissistic abuse I was getting from my family. and just the physical pains, and not having enough energy to feel like I could work or find a job or keep that job, because a lot of times I would get headaches and just be so bothered that I would have to rest more often than the normal person would, and just get, feel sick more often. And so that kind of kept me in the that I just kept working for myself. I still work for myself at 42 years old, and I would have to keep a job kind of under where like when I started exotic dancing, I kept that money. It was cash, and I would keep that money, but a lot of places wouldn't hire me. I still had to find the right boss that would tolerate that I was ill more times than a lot of the other people were. And so, but I did have to find somebody to work with me on that. I remember I was very afraid that I would not be able to find a job and be able to work like everybody else. There is no disability for IBS. And, the funny thing is that when I asked the doctor what to do, they said, well, just keep taking your Metamucil every day. So that's what I did, and I couldn't live without that one. Okay, and then, so further down the road, when I hit rock bottom again with my last bow, back on the drugs for a while, that gave me energy and helped that pain go away, and that's only, some of the reason why I did that. I didn't realize that there were underlying factors of my health that were really starting to surface, and were just neglected because I didn't understand that I was having symptoms of thyroid disease. And I had one doctor say something about it, and I started looking it up on Google and searching for all of the symptoms. And it was after I fell sick with the mold sickness, though, when I finally took a real concern about it, because my natural doctor I finally went through told me that I had thyroid problems and that I should get on a thyroid supplement. And I Googled it, and it said that there were different natural pills I could get on. And so I immediately went to a real doctor about it, and I said, well, this is really dangerous, and you guys need to test me for this right away. And I found out that my mother had it. My mother's thyroid doesn't even work, not for a long time, and she's had, got tested and got her medicine right away. But the funny thing was when I got tested by the doctor said that you don't have thyroid disease, go home. And that was only the first one. I went to three more doctors to get, a second and a third check. And they all tested me for thyroid, and none of them found that there was anything wrong with me and sent me home. And I remember the last one that I went to, I tried to confront them about it. I said, well, I've Googled this. My mom's thyroid doesn't even work anymore. I said, is there any way that your test could be wrong? And they said, well, no. Our tests are always very accurate. And I basically told them all of my symptoms, and I was actually having pain in my throat and a hard time breathing and dizziness, and my ears were really hurting. I Googled that, and that's actually, even the doctor said, before they tested, they said, well, it feels like it could be a little bit swollen. You might have thyroiditis, which is in the neck, where your throat can swell, and it's not a good thing. And so, but they tested me again, and they didn't find anything on their test. And I said, well, how can you say that I don't have any problems with my thyroid? Because I have all of the symptoms. and I was just completely ignored and put aside. Like, this doctor actually was making fun of me and made some really kind of cracking, joking, like insinuations that I could be sick like that for other reasons, but it wasn't funny. And I remember just getting angry at the doctors through then, also through the mold sickness, because within the doctor's practice, most doctors were not educated about mold sickness either. And so, you have to go to a specialist for that. But none of the doctors were saying anything about maybe me being sent to a thyroid specialist of any kind. They just said that I didn't have it. So, of course, I'm terrified sitting here, but kind of looking back, thank God, feeling led once again after my mold sickness and after meeting that first natural doctor to go back and maybe find a natural herbal supplement that I could take too. Because I started reading something again online about how synthetic thyroid supplements, which they usually give for thyroid disease, can mess with your liver even worse after years of using it, and it could basically kind of damage things a little bit further. So I was glad to find something natural. And the amazing thing about that is that I asked the doctor, the natural doctor, I said, I've been through at least 3 doctors already, and none of their tests showed. And I had also Googled it just a little bit before that I asked, after I got off the phone with that last doctor, I Googled it. And I asked, well, what can a person have thyroid disease and not have it show up on the tests? And it came up. It said that you can have 5 different kinds of thyroid diseases and never have it show up on your tests. And so when I asked a natural doctor about it, I said, well, why is why? I was just basically talking about it, trying to understand it, and this doctor actually knew. He said, well, there are certain kinds that will not show up on their tests because their tests are only susceptible to certain kinds of thyroid that it can pick up on. It's not 100% totally accurate on all of the thyroid problems. And so it was just amazing to me to find that information, but also, again, I was just like, thank God that I found all this out, because I went through so many years of being really ill, and now that I've started taking natural supplements, there are 2 kinds of supplements that you can order online or at natural stores, herbal stores. One kind has the cow hormone that you have to replace. The thing about thyroid disease is that you have to replace the hormone that you're not getting up here. And so, you're supposed to be at least on 100 milligrams of hormones, whether it's synthetic or I take bovine, which is cow hormone. You can also take a pig hormone. The regular doctors can prescribe that one. I forget the name of it now, but you can always Google it. That's the great thing about Googling. So I just want to say to all the people out there something that they might not, your hair be falling out, or you might have a lot of symptoms of thyroid, like constipation or whatever, and just feel sick a lot and have no energy, and not be able to stand really super cold weather, or be able to get into pools or lakes or anything because your body just can't handle that kind of a cold. Those are a few symptoms of thyroid And it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. And so I just wanted to put that out there. I know some of my videos on health go out there and get watched, and I just think that this was a subject that I really wanted to put out there. It just I'm just kind of standing up for ourselves out there, and going to the doctor and not getting the proper help that we need, you know. So really, that's again self-care, taking care of ourselves, trying not to ignore when something is wrong with you, and even the doctors are telling you there's nothing wrong with you. Don't stop there. Continue. Find what is wrong with you, no matter what. You know, no matter if you have to go natural or not, there will be answers. Keep going and stay strong. Thank you.